When we hear the word corruption, pag naririnig yung corruption na word, ano pumapasok sa isip nyo? Pwedeng bribery. Pwede rin yung mga ninakaw na pondo ng Pilipinas. Ghost projects, alam nyo na yan. So for Filipinos, corruption is not an unfamiliar issue. It remains a recurring concern in politics and governance. So hi guys, welcome to our PSB podcast, Para sa Bayan podcast. Good day everyone, I am Rai and together with Amira, Hannah, Jo, and Adrian, we will discuss political corruption not only as a political problem, but also an ethical issue.
And this issue remains highly relevant that according to a December 2025 Pulse Asia survey, 94% of Filipino adults believe that corruption in the Philippine government is widespread. So while 74% believe it had increased over the previous year.
So when the public power and yung mga resources na dapat para sa taong bayan ay hindi nagagamit ng maayos, sino nga ba talaga yung nagsasuffer sa consequences ito?
So yan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw. Kung ano nga ba yung nagiging morally wrong sa corruption and why should its consequences concern all of us.
To understand the issue, we first need to know what corruption looks like. According to a 2025 Pulse Asia survey reported by Inquirer.net, Filipinos commonly identify bribery, misuse of public funds, and kickbacks as corrupt practices. The same survey found that 41% agreed that corruption is a normal part of Philippine politics.
So ang normalization na to ay importante that according to Peter Cruzer's 2025 analysis for PRIF, ang weak deterrence and environments that tolerate rule-breaking can allow corruption to become persistent. So kung ang corruption may not always remain an isolated act, it can be reinforced by the system surrounding it.
Kung yung corruption becomes expected kasi, people may slowly become less shocked whenever another issue appears.
Pero kasi yung consequences nito, totoo talaga siya yung nangyayari sa totoong buhay. A 2025 policy analysis by the UP Center for Integrative and Development Studies explains that yung corruption ng flood control projects, familiar kayo doon? Siyempre, oo naman yon. Can contribute to ghost projects na mga nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas. Yung mga ghost projects, substandard work, and hazardous infrastructures. And also, in-emphasize dito sa policy analysis na to, na yung kada sentimo or kada peso na nawawala sa corruption weakens our country's ability to prepare for disasters kapag may mga dumadating na kalamidad and to protect its citizens.
Corruption can also affect education. In a 2025 Philippine Daily Inquirer opinion article, Rufa Kagokobuyang discussed accounts of poorly constructed school buildings, those schools, those teachers, those students, as well as unethical practices affecting academic integrity.
So
kung
lahat
itong
ghost na, no? Na-ghost na lahat.
So kung ito man ay infrastructure or education, yung context is very similar kasi when our resources and system intended to serve the public are corrupted, yung ordinary people may lose safety, yung opportunities natin, and also yung essential services na kailangan natin.
Tama.
Yes. And I think corruption is ethically problematic kasi nga yung mga public officials, they have a moral responsibility or obligation to act for the benefit of the people. So kapag mas prioritize pa nila yung personal gain kaysa sa mga tao, they violate public trust, tapos natitreat nila yung mga citizens unfairly, and they may cause harm to society then.
Parang ang hirap na magtiwala sa kanila, no? So kapag sinabi kasi natin corruption, hindi lang naman to about sa pera na nawala eh. Pero, pinagkatiwala din natin sa mga public officials yung power and also yung resources na mag-serve sa ating mga citizens ng common good. But, corruption redirects that trust toward private interest.
It creates a conflict between self-interest and public duty. One person or group may benefit, pero yung ibang community services or protection and opportunities nawawala yung ano.
So sa madaling salita, a private benefit can create a public harm.
And that public harm is often unequal. As the UKCIDS analysis emphasizes, vulnerable communities may face greater risk kapag yung mga resources na dapat para sa public protection ay hindi nagagamit ng maayos. And this raises ethical concerns about justice and responsibility.
Yes. Pero isipin nyo kasi, if yung corruption na normalize na siya within the system, does that lessen the individual's responsibility or every person still have the duty to choose what is right?
Hindi na normalize ba yung corruption eh? Dapat hindi di ba? So,
Then,
dapat nagli-lead tayo sa ethical question na kung yung public office is nag-i-exist to serve the common good, how does corruption violate that responsibility? And sino nga ba dapat yung magiging accountable when unethical conduct becomes normalized within society?
Pero pag-usapan natin at intindihin yung corruption sa iba't ibang perspective na ethical perspectives.
So from a deontological perspective, corruption is unethical because public officials have the duty to serve its people.
yes, and according to Article 11, Section 1 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, public office is a public trust. So, kapag yung mga officials natin inaabuso yung authority nila and minimisuse public funds para sa personal gain, they also violate that duty and betray the trust that the people gave to them.
Yes, and from a utilitarian perspective naman kasi, corruption creates more harm than good.
Oo, tama ka dyan. Kasi isipin mo kahit na maraming tao yung nagbe-benefit, we can't deny the fact that millions of citizens of the Philippines experience its consequences through poor public services. Alam niyo yan. Weak infrastructures and also limited opportunities dito sa Pilipinas.
So, mali talaga kasi only a small group benefits from it, while harming society as a whole.
And kung titignan natin through virtue ethics, corruption reflects a failure of moral character. So kung yung public officials natin, dapat expected silang to act with honesty, integrity, and accountability.
However, corruption shows greed, dishonesty, and abuse of power. So, kahit yung corruption ay nagiging common, dapat never natin siyang normalize because deserve natin ng ethical leader who will always choose to do what is right despite na kahit anong situation.
Oo, and I think we should also talk about justice and fairness since public resources are meant to benefit everyone equally dito sa Pilipinas. Pero, pinabasa nga ako according to the article of Abarca 2026, dahil nga daw sa corruption, only a few individuals gain unfair advantages, yun nga yung mga nasa gobyerno, and while a lot of people have konti lang yung access nila sa mga quality education, sa healthcare, sa infrastructure, and other essential services.
So parang, so parang yung natatanggap lang natin lahat is substandard, no? So yun yung nag-create or yun yung nagiging cause ng inequality and yun yung nag-violate ng principle ng fairness. So finally, we should talk about how corruption undermines public trust and accountability. Kasi citizens place their confidence in government institutions.
At yung mga corporations na inaabuso ang power at yung authority na inibigay sa kanila.
So dapat nating tatandaan that ethical leadership requires accountability, transparency, and responsibility sa public.
And based on what we've talked about on our ethical analysis, I think preventing corruption begins with strengthening ethical values.
Agree ako dyan, Bes. And I think that establishing a strong ethical framework within the government and society is essential kasi nga, yung ethics nagsiserve siya as a moral compass in which it helps the individuals distinguish between what is right and what is wrong.
And may nabasa ako noon na from author Masood nung 2023 ata yun, I can't remember na. Pero I'm sure na si Masood yun, na sabi niya, when public officials are guided by integrity and responsibility, they are most less likely to engage in corrupt practices like bribery, nepotism, and the misuse of public resources.
But I think ethical values they must also be supported by transparency and accountability. For example, government decisions, budgets, and public projects should remain open to public scrutiny.
And sa mga officials natin na ina-abuse yung kanilang authority, dapat lamang silang mag-held accountable regardless sa position nila dito, di ba?
Tama.
Tama. And according to OECD 2025, those measures that you've said discourage corruption and nakatulong din i-restore yung public confidence ng government.
So, as we end this podcast, I think natauhan naman na tayo and nalaman naman natin na corruption is not just a political issue. It is also an ethical one. It violates people's trust, mga tiwala nating mga tao, weakens our justice system, and prioritizes personal gains above the common good.
So through deontology, utilitarianism, and ethical values, corruption cannot be ethically justified when it already violates the society, especially the vulnerable already.
And prevention of corruption is more than just laws. It also requires ethical leadership, transparency, responsibility, and accountability. But mostly, it is us na mga citizens who needs to stand up for what is right and to refuse na i-normalize yung mga dishonest practices na ginagawa ng mga nasa politics.
Yes, and dapat natin tandaan na yung every public official na nasa government, meron silang role to serve the people with integrity and responsibility. And yung role naman natin as citizens of this country is to promote honesty and demand justice and accountability sa mga ginagawa na mali ng gobyerno.
Ethical governance begins with ethical choices, because by choosing integrity over personal interest, transparency over deception, accountability over negligence, and responsibility over corruption, we help build a government that truly wants to serve its people and its nation with a clear goal that the betterment of citizens over personal gain.